Hi, everybody. Welcome to Wingman Wisdom. Today is Sunday, March the 26th. Thank you for joining me today. Today, I'm going to be talking about lying. Yeah, the subject of lying. And it brings me no joy to talk about it. It's kind of something that we all lie a little bit. Some of us lie bigger lies than others. Some of us know people are lying to us, yet we deal with it. We pretend, we play along. I want to talk to you about lying. I want to know, how do you feel about lying? And if you tell lies, do you think that you tell the truth all the time? And I'm also going to tell you a story about why I lied when I owned my campground and what that was all about. I didn't want to lie, but I had no other choice. So let me start out by saying Sundays here on Wingman Wisdom, we talk about things about life in general. Sometimes it loops back into RVing, but many times it's just, an old fart's view on the world and where we are right now. I love to hear from you. What do you think about lying? What do you think about these Sunday videos? I know I started doing this on Sundays, trying to keep my personal views, if you will, limited to Sunday, just to get you to kind of think and go, maybe you never thought about that. Or maybe you disagree with me, but I read every comment, so feel free to drop something down below. Okay. Let me talk about lying. I think that we are continuously lied to, and we have always been lied to. Now, it's just something that human beings do. Animals don't do that. I don't think animals lie to each other. They don't even know the difference. They just know reality. But human beings, we are so devious. We're so cunning. We're so manipulative. And at the same time, we live in denial. Oh, I'm not that way. That we're this complex bunch of stuff. All of us. And it is a constant struggle. Do I tell the truth even if it hurts? Even if it's ugly? Or do I kind of tell a little bit of a lie? Just tell part of the truth, to get by. So let me give you an example of a couple of things that we've been lied to over the years. I've got a video from an old commercial, and this is just a little lie, but I want to know what you think about it. I bet you haven't seen this in a long time.
This was me 5 years ago, and it's still me. Because I confess I'm a waistline watcher from way back. Well, that's enough for today. Now for a lively lift. Ice-cold Coca-Cola. There's no waistline worry with Coke, Actually, this individual-sized bottle has no more calories than half a grapefruit. Another thing, the cold, crisp taste of Coke is so satisfying, it keeps me from eating something else that might really add those pounds. Coke's a natural, wholesome blending of pure food flavors. I guess that's why everyone likes the refreshing new feeling you get, only from not-too-sweet Coca-Cola. And no wonder. Lively, lifty Coca-Cola provides a welcome bit of quick energy between meals. Makes for a pleasant pause in a busy day. Oh, and remember, Coke is low in calories, too. Say, now, don't you get any thinner.
The big lie. Do you think that Coca-Cola thought that this was really good for keeping you thin? Really? And then they just learned later on that it wasn't such a healthy thing after all? You drink a Coca-Cola. Come on, everybody. You know it. Coca-Cola is good for you. It may taste really good. But to justify it by saying, man, it's going to keep me thin, I think is just a big lie. And we buy into it, don't we? Here's another big lie. Check this one out. 20,679 physicians say Luckies are less irritating. It's toasted. Look at that handsome doctor and those Lucky Strike cigarettes. Man, they're good for you, aren't they? Remember that? Many of you probably do remember it. Some of you younger folks, you have no idea. But smoking used to be, man, everybody did it. Check out this one. More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Ah, that is so good for me. But we bought into it, didn't we? I think if you just used a little bit of common sense, you went, it can't be good for you. It can't be. But some people believed it. How do I know that? Well, look around. How many people have had lung cancer? Maybe secondhand smoke, they've developed some chronic breathing disease because of being around smokers. We've been lied to forever. Here's another one. More doctors, it's the same thing. Camel cigarettes. More doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. So what does this have to do with anything? I think it shows that at least for 60 years, we've been lied to. And even before then, what are we being lied to about now? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to get into politics, but I think we're being lied to. The banks are in good shape. Nothing to see here. We're going to back it up. Do you believe that that's going to happen? Do you believe that everything's fine? Nothing to see here. Just move right along, everybody. Bah! I think there's a big problem. But what if our president were to tell everybody, hey, we're in deep doo-doo, everybody. Get your money and run. What do you think would happen? It'll be total chaos. So does he have to tell a lie? Or is it a lie? Do you think that everything's okay? Man, Wingman, you're just making a whole lot out of nothing. Or do you think they know a whole lot more than they're telling us? Do you think that things aren't quite as good and rosy as they say? What about the border situation? Are we being lied to? No problem down on the border. Well, I live in Texas, and I think there's a big problem at the border. I think we're being lied to on that. What about that thing that if we just got that thing, we won't get sick? We're being lied to all the time. Is it okay? I don't know. I don't think it's okay. I want to hope that human beings, that Americans with common sense, and I know that may be an oxymoron, human beings now with common sense, but I think that people with common sense would rather hear the truth and then make a decision. You know what? I want to get that thing. Coke isn't going to make you thin. It's not going to keep you from eating other food. The least irritating cigarette there is. It's not going to make you healthy. But if I want to do it, it's okay. Just understand the risks. But I think maybe we're too far gone. I really believe we are too far gone and people can't handle the truth. That movie with Jack Nicholson, you can't handle the truth. I think most people cannot handle the truth. Why? Because it's ugly. I often say, I tell the truth. Well, I tell the truth too. When your wife comes home from the beauty shop and says, do you like my hair? You go, oh yeah. And she says, is that the truth? You say, yeah. But the ugly truth is, holy smokes, how long is it going to take to grow out? Few of us tell the ugly truth. I've told a story about back when I had my hunting ranch, back when General Motors went broke and the automotive manufacturers had to be bailed out. And then shortly after that, the real estate, 2008, the big financial debacle there where people were given mortgages that could never afford to buy a home. And the government went in and bailed them out. And I had a friend who was a Wall Street banker, and he came hunting with me every single year right after Thanksgiving. And I'd ask him, I said, what's going to happen? Are we going to bail the auto companies out? What's going to happen with all these mortgages? What's going to happen? Because I always want to know what's going to happen. And he kind of hemmed and hawed, and he was very, very nice and very eloquent, very distinguished bajillionaire. And he said, well, Alan, he says, yeah, we're going to bail everybody out. So what do you mean? He says, well, we won't exactly call it a bailout. We'll come up with a name. There'll be all kinds of government committees and subcommittees and people analyzing everything. But don't you see, in this country, we don't solve anything. We just kick the can down the road. I'm like, that's terrible. I've told this story before. Some of y'all may have heard it. He says, no, we don't fix things in this country. And in the future, now this is back in 2008, 2009. He said, in the future, you're going to find out what inflation is all about. We're going to all find out. I said, what's going to happen? He says, I don't know, but we're probably not going to fix that either. I believe that we have been lied to. We're being sold things about the military, about our national security. And I hope I don't get this video thrown off of YouTube. I want to share my views. And I know that I'm an old guy and that maybe I wasn't quite this negative, I've got a brother that calls me up. He said, man, after I hang up with you, he said, I feel like finding a tree and a rope. But I tell the truth. At least I give you something to think about. Just think about. Wouldn't you rather hear the truth than some lie, some bogus BS? I think the sooner we wake up and we understand what reality is, what reality really is, the sooner we can get through the problem, get on with our life, and try to build something positive out of it. But the longer we kick the can down the road, the longer we ignore the obvious, the elephant in the room, the longer we say, oh, there's no problem at the border. Oh, our kids are fine. They've gone through this before. It's always been like this. The more we ignore it, we're going to pay for it in the future. And we're going to pay for it with compound interest. Or we'll just roll it forward like the national debt. That's probably what we'll do. And we'll dissolve and disintegrate. I've talked about the Tytler cycle before. We are in, I believe, this old guy, Alexander Tytler. Check it out. I put it, he talks about how every society goes through these cycles. And we are, I believe, at the end of the cycle. And things are going to get bad. I think that we're coming apart at the seams. Oh, it's been like this forever. And maybe, it probably has. But I think that we are at an all new place. I've never seen things like this. I've never seen people arguing more, which is exactly what our government wants us to do. They want us to fight back and forth. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight with you. If you don't want to prepare, if you want to believe that everything is okay, God bless you. I mean it. I hope that I am wrong. But I'm preparing. And many of the friends that I have are preparing. I'll tell you something that we all need to prepare for. You preppers out there, you need to prepare for when the doomsday hits. The zombies are going to be walking the street, not like Night of the Dead or whatever it's called. Day of the Dead, whatever that show is. Not those kind of zombies, but hungry people. Hungry people are scared. People are scared right now. I get emails all the time from people that are literally living not only paycheck to paycheck, they hadn't had a paycheck, and they're trying to hold on. Our country is fracturing, and I think that we need to face reality, even if it's ugly, even if it's scary. Yeah, I'm wearing a scary shirt today. I'm going to celebrate this uplifting video. It does me no joy to talk about this. But when I turn on the news and I see, everything's going to be fine. We got it all under control. Just go on back to work. Pay your fair share. Have that dream. Good luck to you. I don't believe it. Do you? Do you think it's okay to be lied to? Now let me tell you about the lie that I told up at my campground. When I bought my campground, it was the end of 2013, 2014 was beginning, and Texas was in a huge drought. The lake where my campground was positioned was at the lowest point it had ever been in its existence, since it filled up ever. And we were on a well system. And so it's like having a straw on the ground. And when the lake dropped, guess what? The wells in our area went dry. Well, I got a campground to run. Guess what I had to do? I had to buy water. And so I'd have a water truck come in every day, sometimes, when I was lucky, every other day, to bring city water all the way out to my campground and fill up my water tanks and cross my fingers that I wouldn't have a toilet leak or that people wouldn't leave the hose bib turned on, because I had to survive. There was nothing left in the well. I was doomed if I didn't go out and get the water and bring it in to me. So, because I think that I'm a man of integrity, at least I want to believe I am most of the time, I would go to my campers. I would say, listen, we're on a well system. And you see how low the lake is out there? Our well is pretty well shot. We only get a little bit of water out of it each day. Please conserve your water. Have a good time, but please conserve your water. Because if you don't, when we're out, we're all out. And I can't get water until the next day or the next day if it's on a weekend. Okay, guess what they did? You're right. They used up all the water. They said, okay, we understand. Ooh, thank you for telling us. And my water, because I had a meter and I could see how much water people were using, and they would drain the damn water. I would tell them the truth and they couldn't handle it. You know why? Because they go back and they go, we're going to lose water. We better get as much as we can while we can get it. What do? Close the campground? Yell at them? I'd like to yell at them because they're costing me money and they're hurting other people who are trying to conserve. So guess what I did? This is terrible. I told a lie. And so I figured out, you know what? Telling the truth doesn't work. So I'm going to tell this little lie. So I told people, when they came in, we're on a well system. And as you know, the lake is really low. And so the water, we're sucking up water that hadn't been sucked up probably in a long time. And we got it tested. And there's something not right with the water. What? Now I got their attention. Yeah, we're recommending that you go to the grocery store in town and buy your drinking water and don't use the water. Until we get a green light on it. Guess what they did? They didn't use the water. They stopped because I got their attention. I scared them, but I had to lie to scare them. Do you think if our president said, look, folks, we're in deep doo-doo, like I said earlier, we're in big trouble. The banks are overextended. Interest rates should be going higher. I know they're high now. I know a lot of people are going, oh my God, the interest rates are too high. I think we ain't seen nothing yet. I think inflation is going to be rearing its ugly head again, and I think that we are in for a very, very dark future. That's why preparing is so important. That's why telling the truth is so important. And it's hard to tell something to somebody that doesn't want to hear it. How many patients want to go to a doctor and hear the ugly truth? A friend of mine that used to work at a radio station, he's now dead, but he was a great big guy, 400 and something pounds, and very, very unhealthy. He was a diabetic, and he was very distraught. And, when I met him and talking to him, he said that he had come back from the doctor, and the doctor had told him this. The doctor says, you know what, you're 400 and something pounds. You've got to lose weight. You got to do something. You're a diabetic. Do you know how many 80-year-old patients I've seen that are like you? My friend goes, no. And he says, well, I haven't seen any. And you're not going to be the first. Naturally, my friend was devastated. It's like, oh my God. He knew the truth, but he didn't want to face the truth. Guess what happened to him? Both legs cut off. Guess what happened after that? He's cut off and dead. The truth sometimes hurts. And if we don't want to live in reality, we are facing certain doom, and we're going to pay for it with interest. So, as I told you, Sundays I ramble all over the place, and I don't have the answer. I don't. We live in a weird time, and I think that it's going to get even weirder. It's time to prepare. It's time to try to communicate effectively, lovingly with people we care about. It's time to start thinking, what are you going to do when the zombies start knocking on your door? The people that didn't prepare. Because they know you did. You've got water. You've got food. You've got medicine. You bought lots of dog food to take care of your little four-legged friends for when the apocalypse happens. You are prepared. What are you going to do when they knock on your door? What are you going to do when they knock on the door with a gun? Could it happen? It could never, ever, ever happen. I think we're in a time where you better be careful what you say, because I think just about anything could happen now, except telling the truth. So let me know what you think. I promise I'll be talking about RVs tomorrow and something a little bit hopefully more uplifting. But I want to encourage you to tell the truth. Try to be sensitive to the people that are out there on the other side that don't want to hear it. Try to be loving, but try to help them be responsible. We all have to be responsible for our actions. Okay, tomorrow, I promise I will be a whole lot more chipper, and I'll be talking about RVs and RVing. Until then, I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman. Be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't leave your good manners at home. See you mañana.